All right, here we are in our third session of Adobe Illustrator. Session 3, yes, Session 3. And what we're going to be doing today is using a feature called the Pathfinder, and I'm going to get right to work on this. You'll start off with a document that looks like this, and you'll wind up with something that might sort of look like this, but it doesn't have to look exactly like this. There are operations that I want you to perform here, and I'm going to show you what those look like. So let me close this copy, and I'm going to kind of keep this copy open. This is one that I've already done, and let's take a look at exactly how this is going to work for you. Excuse me. When you're in Illustrator, you'll click File and click Open and get to Drive L, our courses drive. All right, wait for that to refresh, and period 7 and assignments and Illustrator. This is session number 3 on the Pathfinder, session 3. Open that up, and inside here is a file that you will need, and there unfortunately is not a handout for this, but follow my example here and off we go. All right, so it looks like this when you first open it up. Now you will need to perform these operations that I'm going to have you do, you will need a panel called the Pathfinder Panel, and you can find that on the Window menu and go to Pathfinder. And this Pathfinder panel will kind of float around, and we're not going to use a ton of this. We're going to use some of these buttons on here, not a ton of them, but we will use some of them. All right, so here we go. This first one says, I'll pull this over here a little bit, unite 4 circles. Okay, well, I'll get the ellipse tool. Color is up to you. It really doesn't matter here. I'm going to draw a circle, and it's kind of a blue color. That's good enough for me. That's fine. I'm going to Alt drag it to make more circles like that, kind of just bunched up so they're overlapping. You want them to overlap. And I'll pull this one down just a smidge like that. And maybe pull this one out a little bit. Okay, now to do these Pathfinder operations, this is right now 4 separate circles. So what I'm going to do is use my black arrow, and I'm going to select all 4 of those. And then the unite function here, this is the first one we're going to work with, is the very first button on the top row. If I click unite, it's going to take those 4 circles and turn them into one shape. Pow. I've deselected them, sorry. Okay, I'm having trouble getting selected what I want. I'll get it here in a minute. By golly, there we go. Okay, now I click, get them all 4 selected, and then hit unite, and this is now turned, it's not 4 separate shapes anymore, it's one shape. It could be filled with a different color if I wanted to. So I could change the color of it. I could add an outline to it if I wanted to. That is one shape now, and that's what I wanted. All right, now on the next one it says let's do a similar thing with 4 ovals. All right, well, I'll make a real thin oval like this, and then I'm just going to Alt drag that. I'll use the black arrow tool. I'm going to Alt drag it so I have 4 of them. Now I want to make these overlap, so I'm going to having a little trouble getting that to rotate the way I want. There we go. I'll just rotate that one kind of like that and like that. And this one I'm going to rotate it so it's kind of flat like that. And let me move these a little bit over here. Okay. So I've got these 4 ovals that are all stacked up and they're kind of laying on top of each other, and so I'm going to go ahead and select them all, and again it's 4 separate pieces right now, but this unite button does this. Very nice. It makes it kind of look like a flower or whatever you want to call it, and again I could come along here and change the color of that if I wanted to. That's totally up to you. Okay, the next one here says, and that was 4 ovals, the next one here says 1 circle and 2 triangles. Here's my thought on this. Let's draw out a circle like this, and then I'm going to use the polygon tool here, and I'll click and begin dragging, and I got to tap, remember I got to tap the down arrow until I get a triangle, about like that. Okay, good. And I'm going to rotate that just a bit, and I'm going to use my black arrow tool and Alt drag that and rotate the other triangle over here kind of like this. And I'm going to set this triangle so it's right there, and set this triangle so it's right there, and maybe move that over just a smidge. All right, so it's kind of like that. And again, right now it's 3 separate shapes. Well, The Unite feature is going to make that one shape that could be outlined and filled with anything I want. So I've got a circle with these two triangles sticking out, and if I do the Unite feature right here, pow, it is now one shape. And again, I could bump up an outline on it if I wanted to, and you see the kind of shape that I'm getting there. So I made kind of a complex shape by using this Unite trick. All right, this make one up idea, what I did in my previous example over here was like a bow tie. All right, it's kind of similar to the cat thing. I did a circle with a triangle. I'll take the polygon tool and kind of draw a triangle that's sticking out this way, and I'll use my black arrow and stick that right there, and I'm going to alt drag that and rotate it so it's like this. So I've got that, a circle and two triangles, and it kind of looks like a bow tie or a piece of candy in a wrapper or something like that. Get it all selected, and I'm going to do Unite. Pow. Well, once again, I could bump up the stroke on that, give it an outline. I could fill it up with whatever I want to fill it up with. You may have discovered that up here on the control bar up here, there's swatches that you can use to fill these things up too if you want to do it that way. So however you would like to do it. You can size these things, and that one is, I just made that one up. You could make up something different than me if you want to. All right, minus front is our next one. All right, so watch what happens here. I'm going to make a circle, and then I'm going to make a star. Now I could make I could have any number of points. I could tap the down arrow if I wanted to. Now it'll help here if I take that star color and change it to some other color so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the black arrow, and I'm going to lay the star right on top of the circle like that. Now I want to select them both, and the minus front button, let me pull this over here, the minus front button is right here. It's the second button on the top row, and I'm going to click it. Pow. Now here's what it did. That star that was laying on top of the pink circle punched its way through. It punched a hole, and it disappeared. I can prove it to you. Let me put that over the top. Oh, see, you can see right through that. You can see through that hole into the other shapes that are laying around on this document. So that's minus front. Whatever's on front punches through. And again, I could bump up the stroke weight on that a little bit if I wanted it to look a little bit different. Hey, cool. Look at that. All right. So that is a circle with a star-shaped hole. Lovely. All right. Half circle that could be made with a rectangle and a circle. Watch this. Try this one. Draw a circle, about like that. Get the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle. Yeah, about like that. Just so you can see what's going on better, I'm going to change the color of that rectangle. And I'll lay the rectangle so it's covering up the bottom part of the circle, like that. All right. Exactly how much of the circle you cover up is up to you. All right, select them both. You have to select them both. It's important that when you do these operations, you have them both selected. Good, got that. And the minus front button is the second button on the panel. Pow. And again, what happens with minus front, the shape is on top, punches its way through, disappears, and so it leaves me here with this half of a circle. Very good. Bingo. Next up on the minus front, a crescent moon. Well, we can pull this trick by drawing two circles. In fact, I can pretty much do this. I can draw one circle, use my black arrow and alt drag this, and just so you can see this a little bit better, again, I'm going to change the color of that top circle. So you see what I've got? Two circles laying on top of each other like this. Drag it so that you have them both selected. Our minus front button is the second button on the panel right here, second button on the top row. Pow. And look what I have left. That front circle has punched through and disappeared, and it leaves me with what you would call like a crescent moon or a crescent shape. And again, our next one here is make one up. All right, well, I know what I'm going to do, and you can do the same thing if you want to. I'm going to draw a circle, and then I'm going to draw a square. Now, so that you can see how this is working a little bit better, I'm going to change the color of that square. All right, I'll take the square up here, and I'm going to rotate it. So you sneak up on a corner, get it rotated the way you want, and lay it in kind of right like that. I'm going to lay it in so the point of one of the corners of the square is kind of pointing in right toward the center of the circle, about like that. All right, I'll select them both. Remember, whatever is on top is going to punch through, so I'll hit minus front, pow, and it looks like Pac-Man. That circle, or that square, just punched through and took part of the circle out and leaves me with this nice little shape right here. Very cool. So that's the one that I made up. Okay, now next up is an intersect. All right. Now, I'm going to do kind of a cat's eye shape here, and here's how I'm going to do it. I'll get the ellipse tool, and I'm just going to draw a circle, kind of an oval-ish kind of thing, and I'll use my black arrow and Alt-drag that. So I have two circles overlapping. Now again, it might help you a smidge if I change the color of one of those, so you can kind of see it. All right, so I've got this kind of light green circle and a pink circle, and they're overlapping. If I select them both, we've got this arrangement right here. Here's what intersect does. All right, intersect works this way. It's the third button on the top row, and if I go 3, 2, 1, pow, look at what's left. Only the part, and I'll undo that with a Control-Z, only the part that was overlapping is still there. Oh, cool. All right, so if I hit intersect, it leaves me with this shape right here, which kind of looks like a cat's eye or a football or whatever you would like to call that. So I could slant that around a little bit. And that is my intersect example right there. All right, now we've got one more that we're going to do. And I'm just going to use two circles to show you this. I'll draw one circle here. I'll use my black arrow tool and I'll Alt-drag it. And I'm just going to leave these two circles. And again, I'm only changing the color of these circles so that you can see better what's going on. All right. I've got these two circles overlapping, kind of a purple or a blue and a green, and I'm going to select them both. You have to drag so that you select them both. And exclude is our last one. Now watch what happens here. 3, 2, 1, pow. Now a couple things happen. Check it out. The part that's going to disappear is the part that is overlapping. It's kind of the opposite of intersect. This part that's overlapping is going to be gone. Anything that's overlapping disappears. Okay, but the other thing is that this blue circle adopts the color of the one that's on top. So pow, we wind up with it all green. And again, I could go up here to the little stroke control and thicken up the stroke and things like that. But you see the shape that I was able to make with that function right there, and that's kind of, I couldn't have made that shape very easy any other way. So look, we did it. We have worked our way through all of the unites, the minus fronts, the intersect, the exclude, and they're all found on the Pathfinder panel, which you get under the window menu, window and Pathfinder. Folks, that is the assignment. When you get this done, it's called Pathfinder. It's already got a name, so you should save as and get to your network drive. Save it on your network drive first. Okay, you can even put it in your Dropbox folder. That's fine, and just call it Pathfinder. Pow. Remember to keep clicking save and click OK there, and you got it. Then you got to drag it and drop it into your turn-in folder on Drive L to get it turned in. So there we go. That's another session in Adobe Illustrator. Some more cool shape work. Have at it.